I have a project that I found online that is a shading exercise of sorts that is looks like tissue under the microscope. Stick around. Welcome to the Art Project. Thanks for clicking on my video. Please subscribe down below if you haven't already, and if you got any questions or comments or suggestions about what I've done here, please leave them in the comments down below. First thing I did was put a border on my paper. This gives it a nice professional look and gives me a format within which to work. And then I proceeded to draw some circles, or not really circles, but some free-form shapes around the border area, starting on one edge and going off of the other, and then giving it a little bit of space, and then drawing another free-form edge, just leaving a little space in between. Then I drew three more free-form areas that kind of followed along the original shapes that I did. This kind of makes it look like I don't know, tissue that's been pulled apart and has holes in it. And I made corrections if I needed to. After doing this, I actually erased my lines because I had drawn them a little bit too dark, and I didn't want that to mess up the yellow color pencil that I used. So I kind of erased the lines. I could still see them, but I made them a lot lighter by erasing them. You can still see them a little bit in the video. Decided for my project that I was going to do analogous colors for the tissues, starting with yellow, and then yellow orange, and then orange, and then red orange, and then red, and then a black background. So after doing my first layer, I went ahead and did a second layer of tissue underneath the layer that I drew, underneath the first layer that I drew. I drew or colored it in with yellow first because I wanted to make a yellow orange, and I'm going to mix my colors together. There's really not a whole lot of shading. The original exercise, the original project that I found online was had a lot more to do with shading than I did in the actual project here. But I'm mixing my colored pencils, and I'm going to try and make it vibrant colors. You can kind of choose any colors you want to. And all of my shading, which is not a whole lot, is going to come at the very, very end. So stick around to the end to see how I shaded it in. If you're not careful, you'll miss it. So after doing the second layer in yellow, I went back with some orange and filled it in. And the orange and the yellow kind of mixed together to make a yellow or orange. It's not as yellow orange as I expected it to be, or as I wanted it to be. And I probably could have gone over it with another layer of yellow, but it is what it is. Then I added a third layer of tissue underneath the layer of tissue that I have already drawn. After doing that, I filled it in with straight orange without any yellow beneath it. It's a little bit darker. And then after the orange layer, I did another layer of tissue underneath that. I think the more layers that you can put down, the better it's going to look. And to me, it's all about getting those free-form shapes to kind of connect with one another. One of my favorite things about this project is that there's some overlapping that you have to think about as you're doing this. And so as I'm teaching my students, we kind of go slowly at first, and I show them how to overlap and keep up with and keep track of their shapes, their free-form shapes in the background. And then after I got my shapes in there, I filled this in with a red-orange. It's good to have a cup of coffee there with you while you're working on your artwork. If you're a student and you're in class and you can't have coffee, sorry. But if you're a teacher and you're doing one of these, a good cup of coffee is very important. I really don't feel like the picture itself is doing a whole lot right now. I mean, it's a little interesting, but it doesn't really have that jump that it's going to have towards the end. when I shade it in with the black. When I put the black in there and I start shading it in with the black, it's really going to look good. Right now, I'm just adding the red. You can fill in the background, I think, with just about any color you want. Um, the project online was done in black, and I'm pretty sure you can do it in Sharpie or marker. But I chose to do it with ink. My kids like to work with the ink, and I think it gives them an opportunity to kind of practice painting in the lines and that sort of thing. So I went ahead and did mine with ink. It also kind of makes the background vary a little bit. When you look at it up close, it's not solid black. The background has a little bit of kind of a wash or texture to it. But of course, I haven't got to the black background yet. Stay tuned for that. It was a little bit tedious filling in all of this, all of these colors. But also notice that when I did this, I filled them in thick. I did not do the little kind of shading with the color pencil. I colored in thick, so each color, each layer is like a solid color right now. Now I am going to blend it with some black in a little while to give it a little bit more shadow and depth and everything. But when I color with my color pencils, I try and get my kids to paint with the color pencils as much as possible. This is where I'm going to do the red. I got a pencil extender because my red pencil was just too short. If you want to get a pencil extender, I'm going to leave a link down below. Please read the description down below for more information. Places where you can find me, like on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Please subscribe so that you can keep up with these videos. All right, so here I'm going to get the ink, and I'm using a round brush to paint the ink in. And then I had some technical difficulties. At some point, my phone died, and I did not get all of the video of the painting in of the background. So it's going to skip here in just a minute from partially painted in to completely painted in, and I'm going to start doing the shadows. Apologize about not getting all of the painting. It took me about an hour, I think, to do all of the ink. There it goes. All right, so now I've got a black color pencil, and because all of my coloring so far has been done in color pencil, I can add the black right over the top of the color, and I can blend them together. And this gives me some shading. It gives me a chance to teach the students how to blend, and it gives the students an opportunity to practice overlapping. So overlapping, blending, shading, shadows, all of this is kind of incorporated in here together. This is a really fun exercise. I've done this a couple of different ways. I think it's really good to do in marker. It's good to do in color pencil. It's good to even do in crayon if you've got crayon. I think you could even do this in paint. I haven't done it in paint yet. I think you could watercolor it and probably get really good results. It'd be fun to kind of do one layer of watercolor a day with kind of a wet method. Another thing that I did when I was shading this in is I tried to always shade down and to the right. So I didn't shade the left side of the openings or the left side of the tissue. I only shaded the right side of the tissue as I was doing this for the most part. It's kind of hard to do that because not everything has a definite right side. Some places have more of a, they go horizontal and they don't have a right side. So I always try to do either the right side or the bottom. I also tried to do it closer to the tissue that was right below a layer. So the shadow on the orange is real thin next to the yellow, but the shadow on the red or the red orange is a little bit bigger next to the yellow. So the further down it goes, the bigger the shadow is next to the closest one to the surface. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. If you got questions, email me or leave a comment down below, please, and I will try and answer it a little bit clearer for you. Um, when you get done watching my video, uh, you should check out Peter Draws. Peter Draws is a great YouTube channel that has inspired me quite a bit. And the link to the school and to the teacher that inspired this project or that came up with this project will also be down below, and you can check her out. She's got a lot of great projects at her website. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but it looks like it's pronounced Arteascuola, arteascuola.com. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but you can find it in the link down in the description down below. Another thing I did before I was complete was I shaded around the edge of the border just on the inside so that it would have kind of a 3D look underneath the border. Um, and that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. As I've said probably several times, please subscribe. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And please leave me a comment, suggestion, or challenge in the comments down below. Thank you.